Hello guys, in this video we want to add the list of foods to the project and make it like this. Watch this video to the end to see how. Okay, this is the roadmap for this lesson. Let's start by creating the food model that holds the structure of the food. Let's go to the Explorer, inside the front-end folder, SRC, right-click on the app folder and click on new folder. Create a shared folder. We call it shared because we want it to be shared between components and services. Press enter. Inside it, we want to create a models folder. So right-click, new folder, models. Press enter. Inside the models folder, create a new file with the name of food.ts. Close the Explorer. Let's create the model by writing export class food. So we have the food model as a class here. Let's add its members. Let's start with ID that is required. We define a required member by putting an exclamation mark after its name, colon, the type of ID that is a string. We repeat this process for other members of this class. Name, required, string, price, required, number, tags, optional. We define optional members by putting question mark instead of exclamation mark. And it's a string array. Favorite, required, boolean. Stars, required, number, image URL, required, string, origins, required, string array, and the last one, cook time, required, and string. We just created our food model. Let's close it and go for the next step, that is creating the data.ts to hold sample foods. Since we are not currently connected to any backend service, we need to have a sample data to show what we want to show. We use data.ts for this reason. Let's go to the Explorer, right-click on SRC folder, create a new file, and name it data.ts. Close the Explorer. First of all, let's import the food model here by writing import food from /app shared models food. Then we need to export a constant with the name of sample foods with the type of food array that is equal to this array that I paste here. You can create your own sample data, or you can use this code that is available inside the comment link in the description below. So our data.ts is ready. Now let's add our food images to the assets folder. From the Explorer, go to the assets folder, then copy your food images to its directory. But remember, your image names and your data.ts image URLs should be the same. Now that our data is completely ready, let's go and create the food service that provides the data for home components for showing the foods. Close the Explorer, then from the terminal menu, click on New Terminal. Go to the front-end folder, then generate a new service by writing nggs, the folder of services that is services, and the name of service that is food. Then press enter. Now let's go inside the generated service, Explorer, services, and food.service. Close the Explorer and terminal. Then after the constructor, add a method with the name of getAll to get all the foods from the data.ts. In future, this service should be connected to the backend and get the data from backend. But for now, just returns a food array. We don't have food imported here. To import the food, you can manually import it here like how we did inside the data.ts, or we can click on the food, then press Ctrl and dot and select import food, press enter. Now we have food imported inside our food service. Let's create a block of the method, then return sample foods. When you write sample foods, the VS Code says, do you want to get it from src/data? It is the data.ts that we made in this video. We say yes by pressing enter. Okay, the getAll method is ready. Let's go and generate the home component. Click on view and terminal and write ngGC for generating the component inside components folder, pages folder, because home component is a full page. It is not part of any page. So it is not partial. It is page. So we put it inside pages folder, and home, that is the name of the component. Press enter. It says everything is okay. So let's check out our home component. Close the terminal. From the Explorer, go to the components folder, pages folder. Here we go. We have it here. Go to the home component and close the Explorer. Here inside the home component, we have a foods field with the type of food array with the default value of empty array. Let's press Ctrl dot to import it. This field holds the data that we get from the food service. Let's fill it using the food service. But first of all, we need to inject food service inside this home component. We need to go inside the constructor. Here we need to write private food service with the type of food service. By doing this, Angular will look at the type that you used inside the constructor and give this variable a new instance of food service. And we don't need to instantiate it. Okay, let's set this.foods equal to food service dot get all. Very well. Now our foods are filled with the data from the food service that uses sample foods data. We're done with the home component.ts file, and it's time to add required elements to the HTML file. From the Explorer, select home.component.html file and clear everything. Here we want to add a UL to show a list of foods. Then we need to look through the list items using *ng4. Then we need to create a variable, let food of foods. So here we're going to have food that represents each element of the foods. First of all, we want to add an A tag that goes to the food page. We need to pass the ID of the food here inside double curly braces and close the A tag. We want to show all the details of the food inside this A tag. So if you click on any part of food thumbnail, it will redirect you to the food page. First item that we want to show is image tag. Its src should be equal to food.image URL with the alternative text of food.name. Then close it. You can ask why we use our src inside square brackets. Because by using square brackets for the name of attribute, we can pass dynamic data to it. If we remove this square bracket, it will be just the literal string. And to make it dynamic, we need to put it inside double curly braces. You can use both the style, but I prefer to use square brackets for the attributes that are completely dynamic and not use square brackets for the situation that data is not dynamic or it is semi-dynamic. Part of your data is not dynamic and the other part is dynamic. You can do it in any way you like, but this is my preferred way. After thumbnail image, here we need to add a content class to show the details of the food. Let's add a div with the class of name to show the name of the food. Now let's see the result. But before getting into the browser, we need to add home component to the app component to show it inside the browser. Now from the Explorer, go to the app component. Then after the app header, write app-home. Then close the Explorer and close the app component. Let's go to the browser. As you can see, we can see the images of the food with their names. Now let's add more details to the food. After the name div, let's add a span for the favorite icon. Its class is favorite. By default, favorite is red. We should dynamically mention that when it is not red. So we need to put double curly braces. Inside it, we need to check food.favorite. Question mark. If it's favorite, do nothing because by default it is red. And if it's not, just put a not class here to make it not favorite. Close the span tag. Then copy the heart icon from the comment link in the description below. Now let's add the next property that is stars of the food as a div with a class of stars. For showing the stars of the food, we are using a package with the name of ng star rating. First of all, we need to add it to the project. Okay, go to the view menu, then click on terminal. Make sure that you are inside the frontend folder. Then write npm install ng-star rating to install ng star rating. But it will not be installed in the newer versions. Unfortunately, I didn't find any solid newer version of star rating. But we can install this package using --force argument. Press enter. Okay, if you don't see a lot of red lines here, it could be a good sign. Close the terminal. Now we need to add ng star rating module to our app module. Let's go to the Explorer, click on app module. Inside the imports, after app rating module, add rating module. You need to see ng-star rating as the import on the right side. If you see that, press enter and it means that it's installed successfully on your project. Save this file and close it. Now you need to be able to use ng star rating inside your HTML file. That is your template file. So let's write star-rating. Let's set its value to the food.stars. It's coming from the food. Second value is total stars that we want to be 5. Checked color red, so when they are selected, they will be red. And unchecked black. Let's set its size to 22 pixels. And for this version of the course, we want it to be read-only. So we set the read-only to true. Then we close the tag. So we have star rating inside our project. Let's see it in action. Let's open up the browser. It looks like this. Let's go for the next part, that is origins of the food and cook time. Let's add a div with a class of product-item-footer. Inside it, let's start with the origins. So let's create a div with a class of origins. Inside it, we want to have a span for each origin. So let's add a span and look through the origins using ng for let origin of food.origins. Close the tag, press enter. Inside it, we just want to show the origin. So all the origins will be shown here one by one as a span. The origins are done. Let's go for the cook time. Let's add another div with a class of cook time. Let's add a span and use this clock emoji inside it and the cook time of the food as a text. Food.cooktime. Don't forget to put double curly braces. And for the last item, we have the price. Let's add another div with a class of price. Inside it, use a span and show the value of the price using double curly braces. But we want to show the price as a currency, so we use currency pipe. And pipe will be used for formatting. It is part of Angular. Okay, our home components HTML is ready. Let's see the result inside the browser. Okay, here we go. We have this result, but it is not thumbnail shape. Let's go to the CSS and make a lot of beautiful thumbnails. Close the HTML file and from the Explorer, click on home component.css file. We want to start from the UL. Its display should be flex, its justify content should be center, and its align item should be center too. Its flex wrap should be wrap, so the thumbnails will not stick together on a single line. They will be more responsive. This style type should be none. And padding should be 0. We finished the UL part. Let's go for the A tags inside the LIs. Let's set their height to 22.5 rem and their width to 20 rem. Their border should be 1 pixel, solid, and white smoke. Let's give it a little bit border radius 1 rem. Margin, half a rem, and its display should be flex. Its flex direction should be from top to bottom, so it should be column. Its overflow should be hidden. There shouldn't be any scroll bars. And its color should be hashtag E72929. Now let's work on its hover effect. So write LIA hover. Its opacity should be 0.9 and its cursor should be pointer. Let's see the result inside the browser. As you can see, we have something much more beautiful than before. Let's fix the images aspect ratio and the details of the food. Let's give a style to LIAIMG. The images of the food, their object fit should be cover and their height be 14.5 rem. Let's go for the content class. That has a margin top of 0.3 rem, padding of 0.5 rem from top and bottom, and 1 rem from left and right. Its position should be relative, and its height should be 7 rem. Let's work on the favorite icon class. Its position should be absolute, its top should be 0.5 rem, and its right should be 1 rem. Since we are using a character for the icon, we can change its size by changing the font size. So let's set the font size to 1.2 rem to make it a little bit bigger. Now we need to see the heart icon on the top right of the content. Okay, as you can see, it is on top right, much more beautiful than before. But all of them are red. So let's implement the not favorite class. .favorite.not. And let's set its color to gray. Now if you look at it, some of them are gray and some of them are not. Very well. The name is okay. And the next step, we want to work on stars. So Let's select the stars class and set its margin bottom to 0.2 rem. Now let's select the product item footer class. Let's set its display to flex, its justify content to space between, and align items to flex start. Next class is origins class, and its flex should be 9. Let's give a style to origins span that represents our origins items. Let's set its border radius to 2 rem, background color to white smoke, display to inline block, font size to 0.8 rem, color to gray, margin right 0.3 rem, padding 0 from top and bottom and 0.5 rem from left and right, margin top 0.2 rem. Now let's go for the cook time. Its font size should be 0.9 rem. Its flex should be 3. So 3 of 12 will be set to the cook time and 9 of 12 will be set to the origins. And its text align should be right. And the last item, that is price, should have a position of absolute, bottom of 0, left 0.9 rem, background of white, not transparent, padding of 0.3 rem, from the top 100%, from the right 0 from bottom and 0 from left. Color of hashtag 414141. Margin top 0.7 rem and font size 1.1 rem. Let's see the result. As you can see, we have this beautiful result for the thumbnails of the foods. Okay, this was for this video. In the next video, we are going to add a search box to the project. You've been watching Code with Nasir, and I hope to see you next time.